Told me he just got out of prison and he came to see me, and he loved me. He walked out the door and they shot him.
Ethel Cantley says she can't even think about what happened in front of her home on James Road in North Ridgeville Wednesday evening. But she also says she was unaware that her grandson, killed by police, was wanted in connection with a homicide in Tennessee.
I called his brother in Tennessee and he told me that Jason had shot his girlfriend, and that was her car that he came up here in.
He produced a weapon, shot at officers. Officers returned fire, hitting the subject one time in the chest.
41-year-old Jason Norris died a short time later. North Ridgeville Police Chief Mike Freeman says around 6:20 Wednesday evening, they received a call from the White County Sheriff's Office in Tennessee saying her stolen Jeep pinged several times on a flock license plate reader on Center Ridge Road. Tennessee authorities believe Norris killed his girlfriend in Tennessee 4 o'clock Tuesday morning, took her Jeep Compass, and drove to North Ridgeville.
As a result of that flock hit, we saturated the area and we located the vehicle on James.
The Jeep was parked in the driveway, so officers set up a perimeter around the house.
Mr. Norris and another male who resides at that residence actually came out the front door towards the vehicle that he was driving, which was a Jeep product, and officers gave commands, and there was an exchange of gunfire.
I was in the house, and when they started shooting, I looked out the window, and he was laying in the driveway.
Chief Freeman says 2 officers fired 1 shot each. 1 hit Norris. The chief also says the license plate reader system has changed policing.
They can put in a vehicle and see where, if that vehicle hits on a flock throughout America, throughout the United States, and that's when they called us noticing that it was hitting in North Ridgeville.
We begin the night in Nicholas County, where a man involved in a barricade situation near Summersville has died, according to the Nicholas County Sheriff's Office.
Deputies were serving a mental hygiene warrant on the man, age 36, in the 1000 block of Byron Road when the incident took place. According to a news release from the Sheriff's Office, the man fired shots at officers. Officers returned fire and obtained cover by leaving the home. This took place just after 1:45 p.m. The state police later said the situation was resolved at 5:30. Along with the Nicholas County Sheriff's Office, the West Virginia State Police, the Summersville Police Department, Richwood Police, Natural Resources Police, and EMS crews were all responding to the scene.
A suspect is dead after he was shot by Hillsborough. First here at 5, a suspect is dead after he was shot by Hillsborough deputies early this morning. Investigators say he threatened to kill people inside the Divine Mercy Worship Center in Plant City, then came at them with a railroad spike. Tonight, we're getting a look at the body camera footage that shows the moments leading up to the shooting. Fox 13's Kylie Jones is joining us live with what we're learning. Kylie.
And Haley, the sheriff said this morning that a reverend who lives inside that worship center saw the man banging on the windows. The next thing you know, it all unfolded, deputies say, on a main road right outside the building as that suspect allegedly came at them with a sharp object in his hand. A call to 911 early Tuesday morning came from the Divine Mercy Worship Center.
We get a frantic phone call that there's an individual that they don't recognize outside banging on the windows saying that he's going to kill them.
Hillsborough County deputies got to the worship center around 2:40 this morning. Sheriff Chad Cronister says they were met by a man acting erratically on the other side of this 6-foot wrought iron gate.
What's your name, bro?
You can hear the suspect growl at deputies as they notice some sort of sharp object in his hands.
What's going on with you?
Drop that. Yeah. Whatever's in your hand, drop it.
He's acting extremely erratic at this point. He goes up and he kicks the gate and then he retreats.
What you doing? Hey!
As the suspect kicks through the gate, Sheriff Chronister says deputies try to de-escalate the situation.
Stop!
After deputies try to tase the suspect unsuccessfully, another deploys a bolo wrap.
It's almost like that Spider-Man rat. Extremely effective most of the times.
But he says the suspect is flailing around erratically, still holding what they later determined was a sharp railroad spike in his hands.
Hey, stay back! Drop the knife!
You can see deputies keep backing up, inching closer to the concrete barrier separating them from the highway as the suspect keeps moving towards them. That's when the two deputies shoot.
Drop it! Drop it! Hey!
Chronister says deputies tried to revive the suspect, but he died from his injuries. At this point, it's not clear what led him to this worship center or what led up to this scene.
And right now at 5 a.m. we do begin with breaking news. We are tracking the impacts as a massive police investigation shuts down a busy West Phoenix intersection, and police are telling us a suspect was shot and killed by officers during an armed robbery investigation while you were sleeping.
All of this unfolding near 35th Avenue in Roosevelt, not far from Carl Hayden High School. ABC 15's Jordan Bonke joining us live this morning from there, kicking off our team coverage. And Jordan, we know this is going to have a big impact in this part of town.
Yeah, well, Phoenix police actually told us is that we said this crime scene, again, it's just going to be so big, and it'll get smaller as the day goes on. It could be lunchtime before 35th Avenue here is actually patched up here, and they can move on and they can open up traffic. And this is stemming again from an officer-involved shooting from a shoplifting call that had come into police. In fact, it was around 11:45 at the Circle K that's closer to Roosevelt. There's two on this block, when a Circle K employee waved down an officer on patrol for two people who were shoplifting that were still in the area. Both of them took off on foot, both in different directions. The officer was driving a Tahoe and went after one of the men, who then produced a handgun and then fired multiple shots. There was an exchange of gunfire, is what we're told, and then there was eventually, ultimately, that suspect was shot by police at least one time, taken to the hospital where they had later died. We asked the Phoenix police about that other person who was involved in the shoplifting, and they were very frank with us, and we got the sense that really one is a shoplifting investigation, which would be a lower priority call than a deadly officer involved shooting. And so yes, there will be two investigations involving this, but one obviously has got a higher priority here. Again, just to mention that these crime scenes are going to start out so big and then get a little bit smaller. Here's a little bit more from Phoenix police on why the crime scene right now is just so big and how disruptive it may be to your morning commute.
We have breaking news right now. One man is dead after a shooting with Portland police officers. Traffic is still closed on a section of East Burnside near Southeast 122nd. This is as police are investigating. Now, in the last hour, Police Chief Bob Day gave us an update. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for K2 News at 11. I'm Deborah Knapp. The police shooting followed a search warrant being served on Southeast 124th. K2's Barry Mangold is live at the scene. This is in the Hazelwood neighborhood. So, Barry, police say no officers were injured in the shooting.
Yeah, Deb, no officers hurt. Here's what we do know about what happened. Portland Police Bureau's tactical team, or the Special Emergency Response Team, or CERT, came here at 5:15 to serve a search warrant in the 100 block of Southeast 124th Avenue. And they said that it was as part of a major crimes team investigation that's already resulted in multiple people being detained, but we do not know the details of that investigation. Let's give you a live look now of what the scene looks like here still. Police did not say what the search warrant was for, but here's how the spokesperson for the police bureau described what happened tonight.
At 6:34 p.m. during the service of that search warrant, an adult male, fired at officers. Our officers returned fire. There was a CERT medic on scene, and immediately that medic started life-saving measures on the individual who was struck by the gunfire, and that individual was pronounced deceased at 6:38.
So did the individual who fired at officers say anything to officers prior to it?
We're not aware of that yet. That'll all come out in the investigation.
Now, police did say that the suspect involved in this, or the individual rather involved in this, dropped the pistol that you're seeing on your screen now after that shooting. And we do know that 4 officers were involved in the shooting and are now on paid administrative leave pending an internal investigation, which is standard protocol. Now, Chief Bob Day spoke about the incident as well tonight, saying that he is committed to being transparent with the public as the investigation moves forward.
It's always a tragedy when we lose a life. In this community, I value each and every member of this community, but it's also a solemn reminder of the risk that our men and women take every single day.
I should note this was the second officer-involved shooting for Portland police this year. The first was back in January, and last year PPP officers were involved in 4 separate deadly shootings. Now, back here live on Burnside, this police investigation is still in its early stages, and I should note that East Burnside is closed right now at Northeast 122nd through, I believe, Northeast 126th. Westbound traffic is moving just fine, and anyone that plans on traveling through this area should probably find another route.
Today, the investigation continues into an officer-involved shooting in Greenbrier County. Yesterday, a West Virginia state trooper reports being left no choice but to fire on a suspect armed with a deadly weapon, and that suspect did not survive. A statement from state police headquarters in South Charleston says just after 4 p.m. yesterday, 2 troopers were responding to a report of a suspicious male brandishing a deadly weapon. It happened somewhere in Fairlea. This is a Google map of that community on your screen now. Now, the report says the male subject, who was later identified as Justin Denver Grant, refused verbal orders to drop the deadly weapon. It goes on to say that the trooper used a taser, but it was ineffective, and Grant continued to refuse verbal orders to drop the weapon as the situation escalated. It's at that time that the trooper is said to have fired his weapon, striking Grant, who was then taken to Greenbrier Valley Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. Now, neither of the 2 responding troopers were injured, and this incident remains under investigation by West Virginia State Police.
In the parking lot of a local store this afternoon in Abilene. A robbery suspect was killed by Abilene police.
That suspect used an apparent knife in the robbery, and when he was leaving the grocery store, he was confronted by police. Our Tobin Smith is at the scene with what happened after that for our top story.
Hi, thank you. I am out here at the United on North 10th and Willis, where some emergency crews are still active, just getting through cleaning up what remains of this crime scene of an officer-involved shooting. Now, we spoke with a witness that wishes to remain unidentified, who actually witnessed the suspect in this shooting coming out of the United and the first officer arriving, saying that first officer attempting to disarm the individual had to deploy taser to no effect. Shortly after that, a second officer arrived and placed his cruiser between the first officer and the suspect, where the witness says that that suspect advanced around that cruiser towards the officer once again, saying that they again tried to deploy taser to no effect, and then finally having to use their service weapons. So in a statement from United Supermarkets, they say United Supermarkets is grateful to our team members responding swiftly to de-escalate the situation, prioritizing the safety to our team members and guests inside the store. Well, Tobin Smith reporting live. Back to you.